Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is a Heel Heat Top 10. The topic of this Top 10? Top 10 Wrestlemania Matches. Now, we're going to jump right into it. Sure to be some controversy because different people have different opinions. But let's go right ahead and start it off. Number 10. Randy Macho Man Savage versus the Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 7. Easily, in my opinion, the Ultimate Warrior's best match. He's more known for the match at WrestleMania 6 with Hogan, where he becomes the champion. I think this was a better match. I think the psychology and just the whole way it worked out, in my opinion, made it good. I enjoy Savage's work here. I enjoy the fact that no matter what he did to the Warrior popped up and still came back at him. Like I said, I think this is the Warrior's best match. The spectacle was there. The superstars were there. It was just a good match. What should have been a continuation on the Warrior's ascension and becoming the top guy, taking over for Hogan. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way, but we did get this one classic match. In my opinion, his best match. Now, number 9, we got Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 25. This is the first of the two matches that the two had together. Absolute classic. You got two of your best performers on the grandest stage showing why a guy like The Undertaker and a guy like WrestleMania will always be synonymous, a guy like Shawn Michaels will always be synonymous with WrestleMania. The effort that they put into this match, the style, the counters, just the believability of it is so amazing and so astounding. Such a fun match, such an entertaining match. Two icons in professional wrestling, two guys that we've seen battle at that point for the better part of 15 years. It just was an amazing match. With two, like I said, two of the top upper echelon performers in the history of pro wrestling. Undertaker picks up the win, and Warrior picked up the win in the previous match. But just a great match. WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. Now, number 8. Probably the most controversial on this list. It's a match that the WWE would rather we forget was a main event at a WrestleMania. And as soon as I say it, you'll know exactly why. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, versus the Rabbit Wolverine, Chris Benoit, from WrestleMania 20. This was the apex of Chris Benoit's career. This was him becoming world champion finally, showing that he belongs, showing that he is part of that, at that time, amazing well of talent with guys like Hunter and Shawn and everyone else they had there. This was probably, in my opinion, one of the better three-way matches in the history of pro wrestling. The pageantry that was involved, the after effect with Benoit and Guerrero celebrating in the ring, it made, for me, a perfect WrestleMania moment, a perfect WrestleMania go-home. Now, in the years of the past, obviously we know what happened with Benoit and his family. We're not going to go down that road here. This is basically purely on the match and what happened in the match. Now, you could be among the camp that says what he did at the end of his life tarnishes his wrestling career. I like to separate the two personally. I take it like this. A guy like, let's say, and this is a bad comparison, but it's the one that everybody seems to make. O.J. Simpson's records are not taken away for the crimes he may or may not have committed. So why would you take away what Benoit accomplished? If you're going to say it's a sport or sports entertainment, what he accomplished should still stand as accomplishments. Phil Spector from the world of music. They didn't take away all his gold records when he committed murder. He just went to jail. I know, it's a different story for a different day. Controversial person and a controversial match, but it's still a great match, a great spectacle. If you can't watch it without separating the two, I understand. Fortunately, I can, and it's why it's on my list. Now, our number 7, Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13. This, in my opinion, did more for the rise of Steve Austin into being the top guy in the wrestling business than any other match or any other moment. This was a time when Austin, and it was such a beautifully scripted match, such a beautiful double turn. Bret Hart turns from the babyface to the heel. Austin turns from heel to face with one single act. It was an I Quit match. And basically, Bret Hart, sorry, the two of them are so intertwined. Bret puts Stone Cold in the sharpshooter. Stone Cold, with the blood pouring down his face, refuses to quit. Bret wins when Austin passes out. It's looked at as Bret is the uncaring heel who attacks Austin after the belt, while Austin's looked at as the hero who refused to give up no matter what the odds. It turned the face of both men's careers. It made Austin go up to be the top babyface in the company and probably the top babyface in the world ever coming off of that match. Now, our number 6. From WrestleMania 10, Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in the ladder match. This was the ladder match that put ladder matches on the map. There had been a few before this, and Bret Hart innovated the match. We'll give him the credit where credit is due. Shawn Michaels took the match, brought it to WWE. Him and Bret did a match at a house show that I believe is on one of the Coliseum videos. But this was them bringing it out on the big stage on WrestleMania. And Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, Intercontinental belt at the time was... They both had laid claim to being the champion, so was a way to show, you win this match, you're the true Intercontinental Champion. Razor picks up the win. Just a fantastic match with, at the time, probably two of the best workers in the world. Shawn Michaels, as we all know, historically one of the greatest wrestlers in all of the world. We're already 4 matches into this, or 5 matches into this, and this is the third time I've mentioned him. So it just goes to show how great he is and why he's Mr. WrestleMania when he puts on matches like this. Razor Ramon, I want to say he's the most underrated wrestler, one of the most underrated wrestlers ever, but everybody thinks of him as such. So how can he be underrated? And if everybody considers him underrated, obviously everybody knows exactly how great he was. Just my opinion. Now, our number 5 match. This match is near and dear to my heart because I was there live in person to see this. WrestleMania 28, Hell in a Cell, the end of the era match. Triple H versus The Undertaker. After we had 2 outstanding matches with Taker and Shawn Michaels, then Triple H versus Taker at WrestleMania 27. The match with Triple H versus Undertaker at 28 was put in the cell. Shawn Michaels was made the special guest referee. And it was just another piece of art. 2 of the best in-ring technicians the WWE's ever had and probably ever will have, going at it, beating the crap out of each other. Shawn Michaels interjecting himself at different points in the match. Even with all that, The Undertaker could not be stopped. They all leave together in an embrace. Just gives us another one of those great WrestleMania moments, a great WrestleMania match. And probably higher on my list than most people's just because of the fact that I was there watching it live. It was an amazing spectacle. I do recommend, if you get a chance, going to WrestleMania. The spectacle's outstanding. Now, our number 4 match. Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, makes yet another appearance versus Bret the Hitman Hart, who's making another appearance after this is, I believe, his second on the list. From WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match, this was a match where Shawn Michaels achieved his boyhood dream and became the world champion. This was a culmination of a few years of build-up, taking Shawn Michaels from a rocker to a mid-carder to a world champion. And Bret the Hitman Hart on a similar trajectory. Their careers kind of mirror each other a little bit at the time. You had both of these guys going at the same time, going for the same thing. Made an excellent rivalry. They made excellent matches almost every time they were in the ring with each other. This, in my opinion, is one of the better of their matches, probably the best of their matches. Just artistry at its best. Two of the best professional wrestlers in the world going at it for an hour straight, which actually over an hour with the overtime. Shawn Michaels picks up the win, lives his dream, gives us yet another one of those WrestleMania moments afterwards, which I seem to be big on, obviously. Now, our number 3 is from WrestleMania 17. Edge and Christian versus Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys, in the tables, ladders, and chairs. This match was so different, so groundbreaking. It was basically everything that the Attitude Era was, everything that ECW was, in one match. It was violent, it was death-defying, it was taking risks, it was great wrestling, great psychology, 3 great tag teams going against each other, pushing the boundaries of what you could do in professional wrestling, pushing the boundaries of what tag teams could be in professional wrestling, and showing us the future and the present, and what an outstanding match, an outstanding legacy all 3 of the teams left. In my opinion, after these 3 tag teams disappeared from the WWE, the tag division hasn't been the same since. And there's a reason. These are 3 teams that, if you look at it just from a standpoint of what came out of them, you have Edge, a multiple-time world champion, Christian, a multiple-time world champion, Jeff Hardy, a multiple-time world champion, Matt Hardy, ECW or WWE ECW champion, championships all around the world. Bubba Ray and Devon, Bubba Ray, TNA world champion, one of TNA's great world champions. So just the sheer amount of talent, the Dudley Boys, 23 tag team titles, more than any tag team ever. Probably, if not the greatest tag team that's ever done it, the second greatest tag team only to the Legion of Doom. In my opinion, the Dudleys are better, but there is the argument. I would say Dudleys are a hair better, in my opinion. Just my opinion. So just the talent that was involved between the 6 men made an amazing spectacle and a great match and great fun to watch. Now our number 2 match. You heard me mention the previous match at WrestleMania 25. This is WrestleMania 26. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. The second of their WrestleMania matches. Just a little bit better than the one before. It gave us everything you wanted. You had the drama of Shawn Michaels retiring against the streak, his career versus streak. There was high drama, high level of skill, and they took it up another notch from the year before and just put on a wrestling classic. You look back at these matches that these 2 guys had together, and it just astounds me how great they were and how great both of these matches were and how different each match was and how different they worked each match. This match, Shawn Michaels worked with a sense of urgency. He knew his career was on the line and he wrestled as his career was on the line. Just an amazing match, 2 amazing performers, again, 2 guys that are synonymous with WrestleMania. Now, before we get into our number 1, we do a little thing here at Heel Heat called the Best of the Rest. Basically, these are the matches that were considered for the top 10, but for whatever reason didn't make the cut. First off, from WrestleMania 10, Owen Hart versus Bret Hart, brother versus brother, first match of the night. I thought it was outstanding. I loved it. I love the fact that Owen Hart wins when you expect Bret to win. It just made so much sense. It made Owen Hart so much more important than he was coming before this. And Bret Hart who came out of the night as the world champion. However, there was some doubt in it now because he's lost to his brother Owen. Would Owen go on to win the world championship? Would Bret keep it? Just a great match. Probably, in my opinion, the best opening match in WrestleMania history. I wish they would have done more with Owen after this. I wish Owen would have been propelled into that top heel category that I think he could have been. He could have been top face as well. He did have some runs in the main events against Bret. This, to me, was outstanding. This was two brothers going at it and making a great show and starting off a great WrestleMania. WrestleMania 10, one of the best WrestleManias, in my opinion, still to this day. Now, next on our best of the rest, Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 24. This was the career ender for Ric Flair, even though he went on to wrestle in TNA. I love the match. I love the high drama. I love the end where Shawn says, "I love you, I'm sorry," and then super kicks him anyway. The waterworks coming from Ric Flair afterwards. Just the emotion and the intangibles of the night with Ric Flair, arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, versus Shawn Michaels, arguably the greatest wrestler of that generation. Now, last but not least on our best of the rest, the best hardcore match in WrestleMania history, Mick Foley versus Edge from WrestleMania 22. Up until this point, Mick Foley was rather disappointed that his WrestleMania outings were lackluster. Him and Edge go out there, give a violent, destructive, just a hardcore masterpiece. They go out and put one of the best hardcore matches in the history of all hardcore wrestling out there. Great psychology, great flow. Edge beats Foley. Foley gets his WrestleMania moment, gets his WrestleMania match. Now, before we go into our number one, if you like the list, if you dislike the list, if you think we put something up too high, put something down too low, left something off altogether, let us know what you think. Hit us up in our comments, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on our Twitter page. Let us know what you think, how you feel, what you would have done, who you would have chose, what match you would have thought was better. I like to hear what you have to say. And make sure to like and share while you're at it. Get our word out there to everybody. Now, coming off of that, the number one match in WrestleMania history, the standard bearer for almost 30 years now, from WrestleMania 3, Randy Macho Man Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. One of the great matches in professional wrestling history. An absolute masterpiece. This is basically telling Van Gogh and Michelangelo, here are two paintbrushes, I want you guys to paint us a picture, and letting them do what they do. WrestleMania 3 was built on Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat stole the show, eclipsed anything that Hogan and Andre did, even though that's a great moment. This match, in my opinion, now and forever will be the standard bearer, and it's going to take a lot to be something better than this. The counters, the false finishes, the two counts. I believe Chris Jericho said it in one of his interviews. He counted and there were 23 two counts in this match. So 23 times someone came that close to winning. Everything about it, the whole story building up with Savage injuring Steamboat, the whole Steamboat and, George Animal Steel and Elizabeth thing, everything about the match was just pure magic, with two of the great in-ring technicians showing exactly what they do. If anyone ever teaches a college course on professional wrestling psychology or ring psychology, or even people that are training to be professional wrestlers, this is one of the matches I recommend you watch as something to aspire to. It's one of the great matches in the history of the sport, and obviously, in my opinion, the standard bearer of what a WrestleMania match should be, the greatest match in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. But basically, that's our list. That's our top 10. Again, if you like what you've seen, if you didn't like it, if you think something's too high, something's too low, I left the match off altogether. Maybe your favorite match didn't make this list. Let me know what you think. Hit us up, hit me up in the comments, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter. Make sure to like and share the video. Basically, that's all I have to say on this topic. My name is George Coles, and this has been another Heel Heat Top 10.